Mm. Welcome to another episode of Pels in the Blender. It's your boy A. Davis. Whoa, hold on, people. There he is.
What up, bro?
Whoa, what's good? Hey, we matter of fact, we live right now.
What's up, Chad?
Oh, perfect time and perfect time. Let me go ahead and introduce. I'm pretty sure everybody know, but I got the prestigious, the influential,
Uh,
multi-talented content creator, Mr. Chris Conner, joining the building. What's good, bro?
what's up with you, bro? Pleasure to
Nothing
be
much.
here as always.
Absolutely, nothing much, bro. I appreciate you for coming through. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
go ahead being able to get this episode. Dude, don't need no introduction. Shit. And it listen,
What up,
anytime
Ronald?
anytime anybody from Boo Crew come through, bro, I gotta show them dudes a lot of respect and deference, bro. So I appreciate every last one of them that fall through. And honestly, not just y'all, bro. Any guests that come through on the show, bro. I respect a lot of y'all. So y'all always gonna get the intro and mad respect from me anytime one of y'all come through, bro. Appreciate y'all.
It's love, man.
Absolutely. Y'all ain't gotta do it and y'all choose to. So always. So pretty much what we gonna kind of talk about today. And actually y'all kind of talked about it towards the end of y'all show the other day, kind of breaking down the rotations a little bit, but I kind of want to get like a real deep dive into what it is that we should expect from the rotations this season because to be honest, like everybody was kind of waiting for the roster to kind of sort itself out, and it looked like we were waiting on another move, and we still could be waiting on another move. From that aspect, what you think? You think the Pels done with the roster right now going into the season?
Uh, well, I mean, look, Chaz just put out a show earlier today about Malik Beasley. Um,
Absolutely.
and I think that the Pelicans are in a situation to where they got to keep their options open, right? And we
Mm-hmm.
heard a lot early in the offseason about them maybe looking to make a minor trade. The minor trade was targeted, for guys like Jordan Hawkins or something like that. What's up? What's up, Mike? What's up, Mike? Um, but something like that along those lines, just something to move salary for an upgrade, a backcourt upgrade specifically is what we kept hearing. Instead, what we have seen, I mean, they have brought in a guard and some wings, but we're talking about on
Mm-hmm.
lower risk deals. Nothing that's necessarily nobody with the Pelicans. All these dudes end up playing, but
Yeah.
nobody you expecting to play in August. I would say, right, unless they
Mm-hmm.
completely like over.
Something got to go
Yeah,
terribly wrong.
yeah, or they just hey man, a miracle happens and they
Mm-hmm.
outplay everybody's projections for them though. So um I do think that they are still in a talent acquiring position or space, but probably waiting for the right situation. Could a guy like Malik Beasley be somebody like that for a team that could never say no to someone that shoot the basketball? Malik would,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, because all the money he lost with the situation with 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 the federal or with the
Yeah,
authorities,
with
with the
the
federal authorities.
investigation. Let's just
Yeah,
call it the
yeah.
investigation.
With the investigation, he probably is in a situation where he gonna be looking for another prove it deal. New Orleans, you got I mean, wow, I don't think Troy Weaver was involved in getting he wasn't involved in he doesn't have a relationship with the Malik Beasley, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason, man, if you got any type of affiliation with Detroit, Washington, like I mean, we DMV area, we keep talking like Pelicans gonna make the call. So I'm not saying that he would be an option, but I do think that Chaz's show it brings out an interesting feed because now Malik is out unquestionably next to Russell Westbrook, I believe the
Mm-hmm.
best available free agent, and he might be someone that you would have a chance at at getting. But um outside of that, I can't really think of anything between now and training camp and preseason start.
I completely agree. Let me to kind of go to the Detroit ties for a second. Do you think so? I look at it like if we were to try and acquire Beasley, right? I
Mhm.
mean, not saying you couldn't keep this, but if the Pels were to sign Malik Beasley, wouldn't that automatically make Jordan Hawkins like extremely expendable? like like more expendable than he is right now. Like the second he inked that deal, right?
100%, 100%. Without a doubt, he would be expendable.
So do you think, and this is I don't know, me just throwing it out there, and I don't know, I haven't watched all the Chad show. I saw the clip earlier, but do you think it would be possible with if I'm not mistaken, wasn't one of Trajan's picks Hawkins?
Yep.
What do you think there's any way that Trajan looking for a lower value possible Malik Beasley, you can know maybe looking at and be like, look, sign and trade somewhat, see about maybe getting something in there, or because I think we only have what like 4 million to possibly be able to sign Malik. Like, is there some
Yeah.
kind of way to get to a number that makes Malik Beasley more attainable? Like, say him and Jose, you sign Malik for 8 mil. That's not too much, but you know what I mean? It's just something to throw around. What you think?
I mean, it's something to think about, especially if you in a situation where you really want to clear up an opportunity for Jeremiah Fears to play no matter what, even if it's for for,
Mm-hmm.
for 10 minutes a game. So it would make all the sense in the world to put us to put a trade like that together, considering and I'd have to, I'm trying to think, did Dennis Schroeder go back to? No, he did not go back to Detroit. He went to he
No,
went
he
to
did not.
Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I gotta look because Detroit's, like, Schroeder was a big part of their late
That
season
playoff
run,
run.
and in a big essential part of their playoff rotation, right? So I know they're expecting big things from Ron Harlan. Ron Harlan in second year getting Ivy back.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be, I mean, you couldn't tell me that Detroit couldn't use a Jose Alvarado. They couldn't use a Jordan
Mm-hmm.
Hawkins in the right setup, specifically with the ties to Trajan Langdon. If they're ready to move on from Malik Beasley, considering the fact that they brought in, I think, a shooter or two to kind of replace
Uh,
some of the things that he does. Well, I got to go back to
they
to
they brought
to
in Duncan Robinson
there you
and
go.
yeah, Duncan and one other person they brought in. I'm not sure off the top of
Might
my
have
head. I know.
might have been Fonchecchio. If not, he
Mm-hmm.
went someplace else. But they've replaced that role. They've given Malik Beasley's money away already, and pretty much like the Malik Beasley role in Detroit, is pretty
Yes.
much done, right? So if you could figure out something like that, great. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it does make a lot of sense, though. I mean, for
Mm,
both sides, you don't really have plans for Jordan Hawkins. Even if he plays well, you're not going to pick up an option to pay him. Like, you're not paying him $7 million.
mm-mm.
And then with Jose Alvarado, he's blocking a crucial part. Of someone who
Jeremiah
you
Fears.
invested a high lottery pick in. So, I could see it.
And in the all in situation, they kind of ends for this year specifically. I think Beasley being a veteran and more proven kind of, and I think Hawk can do well, but I think Beasley like projects to help more than Hawkins would right
Easily.
away for sure.
Easily.
So
Size, shoot. I mean, an established shooter, a dude who has shot well in multiple situations and seemed to shoot best or play best when, how I say this without,
back against the wall.
yeah, when the stakes are high,
Yeah.
when it's money on the line,
Yeah.
you know,
Go in the front. Take it off. I'm sorry.
it's all right. It's all
I'm
right.
sorry. Go take it off. Now go play.
Family show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But so let's go ahead and let me ask you this. Do you want to jump because we kind of touched on pause crazy. You want to do that or you want to look at some of this Willie interview first
It's
because
your show. However you want to.
so he had a couple interesting little nuggets. I like when I first watched the interview, like at first watch, I didn't take much from it, you know what I mean? But then when you kind of dive into it a little bit more, he had some interesting little nuggets in there. I don't really want to watch the whole thing, but
Don't worry
I'll
about it. We got that cover for you on Sunday. Don't worry
yeah,
about it. Don't worry about it. We're watching the whole
absolutely.
thing. All right.
Yeah, so but I'm gonna pull up some of it and let me see. see if we could get some of these nuggets from this man, because he mentioned something very interesting about the couple things. He mentioned Jordan Poole, which I thought was important. And based on this, Jeremiah Fears, the rookie specifically, I thought was
Imagine
important.
being able to build an app with
Hold on. I'm sorry, I don't know about y'all, but we still got ads.
That's all right.
We still got ads.
They are interesting personalities. And he goes
as
player for this season.
Zion.
For sure. We're all aligned in our vision. And
he's talking about Zion being aligned. Do you believe in that they actually all aligned?
Depends on what you consider aligned. Like, I would be more curious into, I would need more context, and I would want him to go deeper into what exactly that means.
Yeah. And that's why I said he said a lot and then said nothing. He's a professional at that.
That's Willie though.
Yeah. Yeah, saying a lot and then saying nothing. I will say this, he
even another step forward.
I think he's gotten a little bit better at least giving off, in this particular interview, giving off better energy than seeing him. Like, if you're not already completely destroyed, then like seeing him and being like, man, we need to fire this dude right now.
It's just my opinion. I look at those guys. You all drafted them. You've developed them.
That's the Herb and Trey. I'm sorry,
Here's
bro.
the dynamic young point guard. I saw
there
somebody.
Grateful to get them back and get them healthy.
Here we go.
As
This right
far as
here.
your young guys, you added 2 dynamic guys. I know Joe was raving about being able to add Queen, gave up a lot for him, but fears the dynamic young point guard. I saw somebody, for all the criticism that people have, then people say, but these are 2 of maybe the 5 to 7 best players in the draft. How do you integrate 2 young guys when you do have some guys who are ready to win right now? Is that going to be, I want to say hard, but is it going to be an interesting dynamic for you to make sure that their development is on par, but winning is also paramount too?
Before he responds, I think that's a very good question. Like, I think that's a very good question, specifically from Willie, because your job's on the line. He's been criticized about the development of young players. So to ask that question, like, are you going to give these dudes the runway to go play? Meanwhile, knowing what's on the line, I think that was a very good question. And honestly, a question I wasn't expecting him to ask. What you think?
I mean, one of Willie's, I think biggest flaws has been trying to figure out how to involve young players consistently that don't fit his, I guess, niche of player, his preference of player. Mm-hmm. And by that, I mean offensive first guys or offensive specialists or dudes that need to see something happening for them on that side of the floor to be the plus defenders that you want, even if they're capable of doing that. So, and it, like with Willie, it's not development first. He may view development as sitting on the bench. He may be short-sighted to where I got to do whatever to win this game or to get through this next quarter, right? Or 10 games, however I forgot how he divides the season. But, I think that's part of his issue. We've heard consistently about I've heard behind the scenes and we've heard out in the open about the issues that some of the younger players have had with him. Trey Murphy, heard about Jordan Hawkins, heard some things about Jose in the past. Some of those guys eventually fought through that and they made it to where they have more freedom than they ever have. But one guy who never had an issue with that out the gate was Herb Jones. When Jose started, while maybe Jose got upset about a couple of things, he had a longer leeway out the gate than your average dude coming in from his background, whatever had, because of what he was able to do defensively. And the list goes on and on. He has not been able to figure out how to help these guys develop unless they do the things that he thinks matters most consistently or even out the gate right away, which I don't know if that's a good way of looking at developing anybody or young talent at all.
I agree. This was a really good comment that I can tell Joe has had a real conversation with Willie about playing the rookies. I agree. And Willie also, and then again, y'all gonna get into this, but earlier in this, they asked him about, you know, the ties to Joe Dumars, and he said he was looking forward to being able to learn from Joe and become a better coach. My thought behind that is, I said this at the, you know, in the show with Chaz that me and him did, but if you're Willie Green and David Griffin is your, you know what I mean, your president or whatever, and Willie Green is, I'm sorry, and David Griffin is giving you, you know, tips on rotations and coaching and stuff like that, would you be like, would you really want to listen to what David Griffin has to say from a, like, it's not the question of David Griffin knows basketball, but I think it's very different if a person like Joe Dumars gives you advice and David Griffin gives you advice.
Maybe. I think another element in that could be that, like, Joe Dumars didn't hire you. You know what I'm saying? And you absolutely know, like, I'm sure he heard whispers about his job being on the line. More than likely, as soon as Borrego was brought in, right? So, this isn't. He's not. You know, this isn't something that's foreign to him, and he has to know that even if it wasn't Joe Dumars, his season would be in jeopardy. His career, well, not, I won't say career, but his job is on the line this year. So you got to treat it differently. Versus David Griffin brought you in. You got a relationship with ownership. Obviously, you have a crutch to lean on when it comes to the injury excuse, and you have had a team that's been in contention for you know, playoff spots consistently. Like, he could put together some solid arguments to why it ain't my fault.
Yeah.
But now all that goes away because it don't matter if it's your fault anymore. Things are changing and someone new is in here. If it don't work, you are gonna be the first person to go. I'm sure he knows that.
Yeah, that man. So, okay, so self-preservation, you think, more than anything. Let me
gotta be.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Let me go ahead and play his response, and then we'll get into the rotation.
Yeah, it's a balance. It's a balance of making sure that we continue to develop them, continue to have communication about the things that they're doing really well, the improvements that they can make, but making sure that they play through some of those mistakes as well. That's how guys get better in this league, and we're extremely excited about both Jeremiah and Derek, two really fantastic young players that we feel can make an impact in this organization.
All right. I ain't gonna do too much of that, but bro, Willie looks stressed out, dog. Willie looks stressed, eyes all black, bro. Like, Willie look like he having a tough time right now.
Yeah,
you see Joe and Zion kicking it at Summer League, and then the picture of them two sitting next to each other. It just don't look like a good time for Willie Green right now, which I think is good for us, to be honest.
I mean, he got to get out his own way of it. Like, you know, I was, you know, my co-panelists, my guys, my partners at Boo Crew would probably all disagree with me, but it's just my view of people. Like, my worst enemy, Alvin, I think
is
does
you?
something. No. Well, yes, in a yeah, but that was where I was going.
Okay, my bad.
But that is true though. That is true. This is a therapy show now, y'all.
Bro, whatever you need.
My worst enemy, I think, does something well. You know what I'm saying? The person that I think is the laziest, just inconsiderate, lackadaisical person I could think of, they do something well. I may not be able to off top tell you what it is, but but that's how I view human beings. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that nobody is you know, batting zero, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I say that to say, like, we were having a conversation a few weeks ago about what Willie does well. And it's gonna bring it back to your point. I can't tell you at this point because all of the things that he does well, you can't really measure, right? You can't measure by his ability to manage games, manage time consistently, right? Consistently manage people. You can't give him credit in regards to the basketball mind he has. Like none of those things. The way he deals with with the media, I don't really get any of that. So if the best that I can say about you is that you can overplay your hand. You know what I mean? Like that guy, who, at a spades table is really only good when he got 2 books in his hand. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? He called 2, but he really got 3. He could really find a way 3 or 4. He's creative in that manner. You know what I mean? But you give him a full set to run the table, he don't know what to do. Like that's Willie. You know what I mean? Like I talked to Trey Murphy's dad about a year ago. We had a conversation about this. I said, Willie was a cook. Willie, you give Willie salt, pepper, like garlic powder, and say, yo, I need you to make a dish out of it. Like I need you to like with these seasonings only. I need you to prepare a meal. You get salt, pepper, garlic powder. That's all I got for you. Cool. You start throwing in chili powder and oregano and paprika, and Willie get lost. He don't know. You know what I'm saying? He's not advanced in that amount. So the problem is with him is that I can't tell you what his strengths are anymore. So, but I know he does something well. Well, he has to show something that he does well that everybody can see. You know what I'm saying? Now, like the ego gotta die, the arrogance gotta die. The I'm the one making the call shit gotta die. The I'm not listening or I'm not using the offensive coach that was brought in to his best abilities. Because I think if he looks too good, he might take my job. Shit gotta die. You know what I mean? Play that back because there's something in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these players not being what I would view as good basketball, well, as a good form of basketball, it has to die. I don't like this player, so I can't play him. All that shit gotta go, because for him to evolve as a coach, like he can't like everybody. He can't prefer everything he's given. He can't have 12 guys that are Willie Green type of players. He gotta learn how to manage the people that are fucking Mike Brown players. He got to manage the people that are Tom Thibodeau players. Like, you got to find a way to make that shit work. And if he does not, and he stays stubborn in his ways and refuses to adapt and evolve, get smarter, get better, he will be on a second. Well, he'll be on a first bench, but he will be an assistant coach or a college coach going in next year.
I think the biggest. I think you put it out there, and I ain't gonna lie, I don't want to get away from your point because that was great. Like, this great analogy. Absolutely. Can't use the ingredients and all of that. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man, by the way. Appreciate y'all.
Oh, chat.
But man, my thought is the reason Willie is like that, I think Willie is a built-in overachiever, right? Like, this is a guy who made it to the league with, let's say, less. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not the most talented guy. Like, he got there on hard work, drive, determination. So he's probably even his coaching career is probably a lot of, hard work, drive, stuff like that. And the hardest thing for those type of people, not just players, but like, is to see a person like Zion probably just wake up and just, I got it, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Trey Murphy might not be defensively what you want, but offensively, like, bro, after he figured it out a little bit, like, oh, you can see those people just got it. And I think, and I don't know if this is the right word, but I think from a coaching perspective, bro, I think a little bit of envy could kick in. And I think that could also be part of the reason why you'll do it from the self-preservation point of it. That's why, like, when he don't have all of his pieces, right, and I gotta play Trey and I gotta let Z run, it starts to work, because you can't you can't even get in your own way, kind of like what you're saying. But I think
you ain't got a choice.
Exactly. But if everybody's healthy, you know what I mean? I think I'm gonna go with the guy that reminds me a lot of me, that's in here just trying to make it, trying to survive in the league. I'm gonna give him an opportunity first, as opposed to the guy that's ultra talented, you know what I mean, that might need to work on, he might need to show some more hard work, or you know what I mean, something like that, to where it'll come off as like, okay, you've put in enough grind hours, you put in enough effort, now I can put you on the floor, now you're one of my guys, like let me break you down a little bit, when it don't have to always be that way.
The league don't work that way no more. Like people don't work that way no more, bro. Like he somebody, I don't know who put the comment in, but I was just looking at it, saying he hasn't evolved as a coach. That's right. You know, but there we go. Shout out to T5 the Great. But to evolve as a coach, Alvin, you got to evolve as a person.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You got to be able to admit fault. You got to be able to realize the things you don't do well and allow others. You got to empower other people, you know. And the thing is that it's clear as day that Willie leans on others, like for help, asking about timeouts, situations. What should we do here? Blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't need you if I'm a part of your team. If you're the leader, if you're the manager in charge, I don't need you to listen to me when it's only convenient for you. Like that don't work for me, right? Like it's a bunch of ways you're gonna get the credit, you're gonna get all the credit regardless. You know what I'm saying? But what I need from somebody like that is an individual that at some point is able to look in the mirror, understand his flaws, and put other people in position of power. You know what I mean? When you got a dude like Zion, and look, this hopefully when he says, that we're aligned, well, part of it being aligned is I'm putting all the trust in you this year. Absolutely. I'm putting all of the trust. We are going to make or break because of you. Having a plan for each individual and really sticking to it and believing it. And I just think, for Willie, it's, I'm just going to the same one too. I'm going back to what I know. I'm going back to what worked 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Well, bro, you got to be ready. You got to be like a football coach, bro. Like, a football coach has got to add new plays every single year, bro. Or the shit that worked 3 years ago, it's not going to work. It's not going to work today. Like, the game evolves like that. And if you're not ready and I guess willing to listen to others and try to add some of these things, try to experiment, you're gonna get left behind. And that's the thing, bro. It's just too many things have been stale, vanilla. I mean, how many times have we looked at the offense and we just asking for a simple pick and roll? Yeah, like just stuff like that, man. He gotta get out of his own way. This ain't even about the Pelicans at this point. This is about his future as a coach. If he does not get out of his own way, he ain't got to worry about the Pelicans. He gonna have to worry about what his future looks like, period, as a coach. They just gonna say, okay, listen, he was just a really good assistant coach, had a couple bad breaks, but he's much better as a number 2 or number 3 than he ever is as being the head guy.
I agree as well. Shout out AC. Bro. Am I? Whoa, you can hear me?
Okay, now I hear you.
All right. Well, yeah. Shout out to my cousin AC,
maybe
man.
It's me. I can't hear him. Can y'all hear him, y'all, or it's just me?
Oh, hold on. You can hear me?
Because we gotta get to this part.
Whoa.
Yeah, my headphones are here.
Hold on.
Can y'all hear Elvin?
Whoa.
Let me leave and come back.
Whoa, you can hear me? You can hear me?
Oh, okay. So I just can't hear him. All right, hold on.
You can hear me? My bad. I don't know. Maybe it was connection on that, and I'm sorry. My bad, y'all. But real quick, I related his confidence when Monty said that his downfall, the reason he was doing well in his downfall in New Orleans was not listening to help. he felt like he was going to lose. It was going to be his way and not somebody else's way. I feel like that's one of the problems that most people have, to be honest, is like when you're young growing up, like a lot of people don't listen to their parents. A lot of people don't listen to some of their elders and stuff like that. And I can imagine that it would be the same thing when a coach, when you finally got a job that you feel like you work for, you know what I mean? You kind of want to do things your way. Whoa.
I still can't hear you. What the fuck going on?
Yeah. They said they can hear. I can hear you fine.
Now I can hear you. We good.
Okay. Yeah. So I was just basically just explaining, was talking about because the initial comment said, you know, when Miami was doing well in Phoenix, he said his downfall in New Orleans was not listening to help. He felt like if he was going to lose, he was going to do it his way. And I was saying that's not just a job thing, man. That's people in general. Like when you're growing up, you know, you kind of want to do things your way. I've been working hard for this opportunity. There's so many things I want to try, and not necessarily listening to people that may have done it before you, people that's going to give you advice to get out your way. So then when you fail, you know what I mean? Then you wind up, you know what I'm saying, in a position where now everything's on the line. And in this particular case, like he said, especially in his first head coaching job, I think that's pretty normal, to be honest. When you first get a job, you kind of come in and you want to do some things your way, and you might feel like it take time for those things to, you know, to kind of manifest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not like Willie had you know, Willie didn't get some breaks early. Like Zion was hurt, Brandon was hurt. Like he dealt with a lot of injuries. They did a lot of turnover to the roster. And before last year, if I'm Willie Green, you probably sit back and say we've got better every season. Like, you know, I went from 36 to 42 to 49 wins. Then everybody got hurt. So I think last year was the first time he had to truly humble himself. You know what I mean? And then they bring Joe Dumars in, and he's like, hey, bro, listen, we got to do some things differently. And I think it's the first time he takes a look at himself and be able to say, you know, is make a break. Now, if he shows some things, then, you know, we could reevaluate where we are. Some people has already written him off. And this is not a Willie Green, you know what I mean? A Willie Green episode. I do want to get into the rotation, but you kind of got to.
They go 2-2.
Yeah, you kind of have to, because if Willie Green does not improve, and he's saying, listen, I'm anxious to learn from Joe, who's a championship player and executive and all of that, and I'm giving you these tools that's gonna help you, bro. I got a big man in the draft that's a offensive machine, a offensive system. I got this dynamic point guard that's gonna be able to help break down defenses. You know what I mean? And put you in a position of where you ain't got to work as hard defensively, or you ain't got to work as hard offensively. Like, they smart enough. Like, we brought high IQ players in. They're smart enough. They can figure it out to help, you know, minimize some of your shortcomings. Just lean on that. Hopefully, you know, he does that.
No, I mean, because look, bro, I mean, it's like, how many times have we heard, like, the person that accepts that they aren't the smartest in the room usually does pretty well. They usually succeed. They usually have success, because like there's that level of honesty, but that level of, I mean, you know, it's almost like a mental sacrifice, because we we want to be right. Yeah, you know, we all got pride, bro. You know, we all want to be told, like, hey, I noticed your work there. I seen you do that. You know, I'm that was all you. That was a great design. Yo, what you did a year ago. Like, I mean, everybody's human, and they want to hear that. But the honest truth is, you'll never get credit for 100% of the things you do. You'll never. Like, most of it, people see and don't acknowledge. Yeah. So the thought of which, like, the idea got to be mine, or we got to do it my way, or I can only learn from certain kind of people. No, bro, you got to be able to want to learn from everybody, including your players, because you're going to get majority of the credit because you are the head coach. If James Borrego calls a play, okay, and the Pelicans win a playoff game, you think Charles Barkley and Stephen A. Smith and all these national talking heads the next day gonna be like, what a job by James Borrego? No,
absolutely not.
You know who they gonna get a credit? Willie Green.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And Willie could come out and say, you know what? No, that was James. That was our staff. You know who's still gonna get the credit?
Willie Green.
Willie Green. So, like, bro, the pride and the ego element when we talking about a group, when we talking about winning as a team, it has to go out of the way. You said you didn't want to make it a Willie Green episode, but like you also mentioned, this goes into how your rotation looks because you can't look at your rotation in just one way. You can't.
Absolutely.
You got to look at it as full. You got to look at it broken. You got to look at parents, groups. You got to look at creative different things as maybe goes against the grain of what's working right now. You got to look at a bunch of different stuff when managing 12, 14, 13 players because you never know who you're going to have to call on, when, why, where, who's playing well. Like, you can't forecast all this shit. But the worst thing you could be is closed-minded about it.
Absolutely. And with that being said, we will transition into this roster. So the first thing I kind of want to bring up, and you've been, you know, a lot of people want to talk about the 5 spot, right? Because it's a lot of, if it were up to me and I know Willie's job was on the line, I say start Looney out the gate because you just defensive solid presence. I understand the lack of athleticism from there, but you got enough offense out there and you need for sure rebounding with that. I think with that starting group that I think it would help. You've been big on possibly starting Carlo at the 5 spot, and a lot of people are big on Missy at the 5 spot. First off, how do you feel about the 5 by committee?
I think it works if you know why you're doing it.
Okay.
Like if you are playing a committee because you want one person to simply jump out and separate themselves, if that's the only reason, I don't think that's the way to do it. I think with this team, you have to think about what these players, and Carlo, Looney, and Misi all give you different things. They all have different strengths of each other, right? So that's a good thing. You typically, the Pelicans traditionally don't have 3 bigs at once that you would know are going to play. And in Queen's case, 4. They all have strengths in different areas. But the thing is that you got to figure out how to get the best out of them and what groups and parents are going to work with them. So the committee aspect of it only matters to me. I only care so much about it if, you know, you're putting them with the right people. If you're gonna start Looney, cool. But what are you getting out of him for those 10 minutes, for those 5 minutes, for those 20 minutes with the starters? If you just having him out there to go do shit that don't support him and support his strength, it's a waste of time, committee or not. You know, the same with you know, I like Carlo only because I think when we're talking about the strengths of what this team at their best, and Misi would be second, is that I think that they need to be up and down the floor. They need to overwhelm you with their ability to get up and down the floor, the skill set in transition. They need to be faster than you. Like, I think they have some of those kind of guys, bigs that can run the floor, being able to space the floor, those kind of things. So yeah, I mean, I think a committee works that way. But if you're if you're having a center by committee and you're putting these dudes out here with guys that don't fit next to them, well, guess what? It's not going to make that individual look bad. And people are going to be looking like, damn, man, these Looney minutes suck. You know, what are we doing here? Okay, well, I mean, if you got him out here, you know, with 3-9 shooters, it's supposed to look bad. He can only screen and offensive rebound so many damn times. Like that, you know?
Yeah. I completely agree. Yeah. It's like if you're trying to play in transition, like you said, and I think the strength of this entire roster is built on playing in transition. Like, I don't even think it's really built to play elite defense, to be honest. I think it's built to like cause turnovers, get out and run, and just as many easy buckets as possible, get into the paint, create havoc, you know what I mean? And just kind of score that way to kind of minimize what it is they have to do. So I kind of want to look at it this way. We got our starting lineup. Let's assume Misi is going to start, right?
He'll be the starter.
I think it's a pretty solid bet based on what he's shown last season, I think it's a good bet to say that Missy's gonna start. So you got Z, Poole, Trey, Herb, and Missy, right, as your starting lineup. There's a comment earlier. One of the biggest offseason pickups other than Jordan Poole was Sadiq Bey. Somebody shout out to Kennedy Paul. Really excited for Sadiq. At his worst talent for talent, Jordan Poole cancels out CJ last year. I agree with that. And then I think Bey will be a legit upgrade over Kelly Olynyk. So where do you think Sadiq Bey falls in the rotation? Like, is he your sixth man? Essentially, because looking at the roster right now, I think he might have to be.
As long as Jose Alvarado's on your team, he's a sixth man.
You think so?
As long as Willie Green's your coach and Jose's on this team, he's gonna be the sixth man. And Derek Queen will either supplant him or be after him. And then I think you get to Sadiq Bey.
Jesus. What all we just said about having the growth and all of that, like, no offense.
I'm just telling you, I'm telling you what I've seen. I'm telling you what I've seen. I've seen this team be in too many situations. And some of that is to Jose's credit because there have been so many games where the starters look like they just started playing basketball together because maybe they have. Slow start, low energy. They down 10-15. Jose comes in the game. This happened. So you asked me the first person off the bench?
First person off the bench.
I mean, look, man, that tradition is probably gonna be him. And you throw in the fact that right now, without DeJounte, you don't have a point guard.
I ain't gonna lie. I just 7 man. Bey Queen better be 6 man if he's not starting.
He should be, but he's a rookie. I'm telling y'all based off the Willie Green, the Willie Green experience. You invested a lot. You invested a lot in Derek Queen, right? But we gotta think like Sadiq is coming back from a season off.
And the ACL.
Like so. I mean, it ain't like you just gonna throw him out there. I like the comment that was just up there. He gonna play big minutes and important minutes for you out the gate. He's gonna be. Now I'll tell you this. I think he's gonna be one of your most important bench parts because he's a guy. He gonna close some games for you just because of that flexibility between the 3 and the 4, the shooting. Now being a veteran and do a little bit of everything and score. Like he's gonna close some games. And Willie has a tendency sometimes to like to stay with the hot hand. So I would say that. But you asking me the 6 man?
6 man.
Like I just I have seen games where Jose didn't play, but when you asking me to start the season, one game I remember Jose didn't play was because David Griffin told Willie Green that he better fucking play Jordan Hawkins. And Jordan Hawkins came out there and dropped 30 points. Guess what? The next game, next game he did not play, and Jose was back out there. So I mean, I remember. It's just when we talking about a 6 man. As long as Willie Green just go first part off the bench, I just think it's gonna be Jose, bro.
Listen, so how I envision the rotation, because, and this is not a shot at Jose because I think Jose absolutely can help you, right?
Yeah.
But I think the first person that might get subbed out of the game, and I don't even mean this as like the 6-minute mark or something like that, but I think one of the first people coming out of the game is probably going to be Z or Herb, something like that. And I think they try to stagger minutes from that point on. Now, if I'm subbing Z out of the game, I just can't imagine that sub would be Jose. I think that's what you see, and shout out to Ronald with this one. Earlier he was talking about Queen for the start. I think that's where you start seeing those Queen minutes. And again, he's not there early, but we just, assuming everybody's there but DeJounte, because Queen isn't supposed to miss like, a significant amount of time or something like that.
Okay. So let me throw this back at you.
Mm-hmm.
You are technically, if you start Jordan Poole, so the lineup gonna be Poole, Herb, Trey, Zion, Misi, right?
Yeah.
So I already mentioned to you we don't have a point guard. Okay.
Yes.
So you taking Zion off the floor, it automatically is gonna give you space. But the guy you're running the offense through, who's gonna have the basketball in his hand the most, it's subbing off. So what are you bringing in more than likely? A point guard.
No, we slide Poole to the one.
I hear that, but he already the one. So now you bringing Jose in and saying, all right, Jordan, we don't even know if Jordan Poole wants to handle the basketball like that. We know he like to dribble.
That's true.
But now get off the ball. And we're going to find other ways to set you up. In the beginning of the second quarter, depending on maybe Poole and Zion end up being the ones that sub out first.
I think that's yeah. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm with you though. I'm just telling you how this gonna go. You know what I mean? Like that's how it's gonna go.
Bro, we just talked about all this growth and
they don't have a point guard.
They got 2 point guards. I think they're gonna try and go kind of point guard by committee and stuff like that. Say, bro, they better not go back to doing those Z at the 6 minute marks. I don't think they start the season with that. I don't think they start the season with that at all either. I think he ended the season relatively healthy, had a full off season, didn't start the season. As of right now, we don't have any issues. I don't think they do the 6 minute sub with Z. So let's assume you're right. And Jose is your first in. So you think Jose's first off the bench, no matter, other than obviously if it's like a big and foul trouble or something like that, you think if it's Poole or Z first out, you think Jose's first off the bench?
Yeah, I mean, it's no point. It's no point of having him. It's no point of having him and not playing Jeremiah Fears. If Jose isn't gonna be one of your first people off the bench to either bring energy or maintain energy or being a point guard. There's no point of having him to me. You need to get rid of him. If he's gonna be someone who comes in to start the second quarter, I don't get it. There's no, because we've seen Jose's best. That's pretty much what he is. Now you can end up deciding later on in games, okay, maybe instead of the 20 plus minutes he's been playing, we want to get him down to about 15 minutes so we can share out and carve out more of a role and time for others. But dog, I mean, because let's say the starting group doesn't fit, it's clunky and it's unorganized because once again they don't have a point guard. I don't know if that's the case, but let's say it is without a point guard. And if you are telling me, and if you believe, like I believe, Jeremiah Fears ain't playing out the gate, you got one guy who plays that position right now. That motherfucker is coming in the game.
I need a second, cause I need a second. I just wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared for like. Listen, I'm not saying Jose can't play, but if our bench looks like, right, because right now on our bench we have Saddiq Bey, Jordan Hawkins, and I'm gonna mention Jose last, but Saddiq Bey, Jordan Hawkins, Looney, Carlo, Peavy, Queen, Fizz. If Jose is the first, if Jose is the first off the bench for like, if Trey Murphy subs out and they bring in Jose, like game one,
okay,
bro.
All right, let me. Okay, is Queen healthy game one?
To be honest, I think he's gonna be on the fence.
Okay,
I think he's gonna be on the fence.
Because I mean, now what I would do and what I think is gonna happen are two different things. I do think no matter what, like I still am rostering Jose Alvarado and I have no other point guard. And even with the things I don't like about Jose, I know what he does well. And again, I'm not in this for feelings. I'm not in this for anything else, but for putting these people in the situations where they thrive in. What Jose has told me that he's been able to thrive in since he came into this goddamn league, not as a starter, not as a dude who's playing 30 minutes. It's that dude that comes in towards the end of the first quarter and brings you energy and some type of organization that nobody else can for that pocket of time, right? Against reserves, against, whatever. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm looking at. Now, when Derek Queen is healthy, different situation, because I need him to have the basketball. And I want him to have the basketball. Now, maybe Derek Queen and Jose Alvarado both come in the game. Maybe ultimately it's Saddiq Bey and Queen. Then you got Looney, like, you know, or if it's not Looney, Misi, whoever the other big is, like it's gonna be a mixture of those guys. What I would do and what I think they're gonna do is two different things. But I know starting out, and they don't change this roster, we're gonna be talking a lot about Jose, like we typically are.
Let me ask this question: If come preseason, because I think part of this is counting on what Jeremiah Fears is gonna look like, right? Let's say Jeremiah Fears has one of those preseasons where you're like, oh yeah, this dude ready, right? Not saying to like be a starter or nothing like that, but looks like he can fill some of those minutes. Do you think they start early and try out Jeremiah Fears to see if he's ready because you know what Jose is, or they say we going with Jose because he's safe?
If they were a forward-thinking organization, they would do what the Washington Commanders just did. For those of y'all that don't follow football, right? Okay, so boom, they got an undrafted guy, I believe, or he may have been a fifth rounder from a few years ago, Chris Rodriguez. They signed Austin Eckler last year. They drafted a 7th round pick named Jacory, but they call him Bill. Whatever. But they have a running back who's been their starter the past 2 years, named Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
They just traded him. They just traded him in a contract year, Jose. They just traded him because this 7th rounder is doing so well in training camp, along with the trust they have in this other veteran and another guy who's been in their system consistently. But mainly because this 7th rounder has been balling in training camp. They're so high on him. We're trading a guy who helped us make the playoffs last year. That's what Brian Robinson did. But this just makes the most sense. Move him now because we got this young guy who is going to be cheaper, and we might as well get him going now. Why wait?
Yeah.
Jeremiah Fears, to a different degree, much different between the 7th rounder and the lottery pick. But the point is that, like, unproven, proven, or whatever, if he has a good training camp and a good preseason, and he's 19 years old or about to be 19 years old, you have no choice. But for that to work, though, Alvin, you got to move somebody.
You think?
You got to move somebody. You have to. Willie can't manage Jose Alvarado, Jeremiah Fears off the bench while having to play the guys he got to play starting now. He can't manage it.
I think it'll work out in his favor because I think he'll use Jose as like his fail-safe. Like, I agree with Mike Morgan with this one. I don't know if I can see Joe sitting back and watching Willie not play the rooks. That's kind of where I'm at to a degree, especially if they look solid. So, like, imagine watching Jeremiah Fears play well in preseason. He ain't just a lottery pick. Like, Hawkins is a lottery pick, right? Like, that 14th pick is still a lottery pick. That dude, number 7, like, that's a legit top 10 pick in the draft. And his skill set is unlike really any skill set on the team, to be honest. If he looks like he can get going, I think Joe gonna be like, I need to see it. I'd rather see it early, and then, like, I think Willie would garner more grace putting them into the game and allowing them to go play early, and then falling back on Jose. Like, Jose is a veteran, man, at this point. Like, Jose could not play the first half, and if Jeremiah Fears doesn't do well coming in the second half in those minutes, and like, hey man, we need him to clean up some things, yada yada, and you can still run Jose in the second half. But
it sound good ideally. Nothing. History tells me that there's no way that happens, and it would. And you know what? It would make. I would feel more comfortable with believing that if I thought Jose and Jeremiah could play together.
I definitely don't believe that.
They can't play together. So now You can only play one at a time. They got to be on the floor. Basketball is a game of rhythm. It's it's chemistry, it's synergy, it's everything like that. I don't. You gotta show me where the random minutes come in. I don't want to be having a conversation where Alvin Gentry did this shit, or it was either Alvin or Stan. Well, I remember they had Frank Jackson, and he wouldn't play a good majority of the first half. But randomly, Frank would come in at some random part of the second quarter for like 3, 4, 5 straight games. And I'm like, and then he would go back to not playing. I'm like,
bro,
what is the point? What are we? Why are we doing this? What are we seeing that makes us want to consistently do this? Just to get him minutes to do what exactly? You whatever. I mean, so
Willie did something similar with how he would play JV. Start him and then play him most of the first half, and then you wouldn't see him at all for the rest of the game. It'd be all Larry.
Yeah, and that's now you got a little bit more. I don't know how good the flexibility is going to be, but you have a little bit more roster flexibility to where you can be more creative with how you mix and master these lineups. I just think Jose has to be gone. Jose, it was Stan. I'm like, bro, why are you randomly playing Frank Jackson in this second quarter? and it would be him and Jaleel. Why? What's the point?
Stan had some questionable decisions as well. But that's what happens when you don't coach for a decade and then they hire you. Respect to Stan though. But okay, so let's go with because at the end of the day, Willie's still making a decision, or at least we assume Willie's still making a decision, and we're going we're going based off of what we've seen, and until Willie shows something different. But again, he said press conference, I got to reevaluate, I got to reassess. He did a lot of that talking. And then in this one, I'm looking to learn from Joe. He's saying all of the right things. Like if you go back and listen to the words have meaning, he's saying the right things. But again, we will see. So let's say Jose's first off the bench, right? And then how many we've been doing because I was tracking the minutes. Poole over his career has been around 30 to 31 minutes. Well, last 4 years, 30 to 31 minutes. Z's been around 31 over the career, other than last year when he gets rolling, it's about 31, 32. Herb 30. Trey actually averages 35 minutes a game, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
Trey averages 35 minutes a game. So for the most part, Trey's probably going to be I don't want to say the last sub, but he's probably going to be the last person on the court. So do you think we still doing the 6-minute sub? I know I mentioned that earlier. You still think they doing the scheduled subs for anybody? It ain't got to be just Z, but like scheduled subs.
I mean, I think most teams have them. They have I think that's part of a rotation, kind of playing the minutes, and to play the minutes properly, you got to target a specific time to take guys out and bring them back in, right? Around, we know that's why, you would say around the 6-minute mark, such coming back in around this, around that. But you're giving yourself more grace in case guys are in foul trouble or somebody is just playing really, really well. So, yes, I just think, I don't know if the 6-minute mark specifically is the way to go. Okay. If you are saying for Zion, for example, and Ronald says 100%, like Willie Green needs to learn how to pivot from in certain situations, 100%. Or same thing, Ronald. Not only does he need to pivot from certain situations, he needs to welcome other situations and thoughts. You know what I mean? If Herb Jones, for example, Herb Jones minutes off the top of my head mirror Devin Booker's, for example.
Yes.
But it can't just stop there. You know what I mean? But if we're talking, like cool. If you have plans to play Zion 32 minutes, you should be creative in where those minutes come from. That's what I'm gonna say. Certain games, you may want to play him the entire first quarter. If he got it going, you know what I mean? Certain times, you may not want to take him out in the 8-minute mark. If the motherfucker just scored 12 points in a row, let him run through the end of the first till you see he's clearly tired and you got to get him out. You got to be more willing to pause,
be flexible,
to bend. Yeah, right, correct. Yeah. So you got to be more willing because there's gonna be certain nights where that 32 that Zion's playing may need to be 35. I understand what the medical staff and they saying, and if they have a plan for him, but if they are aligned and they are going all in, the training wheels got to be off for everybody. Willie no longer has the he no longer has the leverage to stick to concrete plans. All that shit got to go out of the window. And I'm talking about down to game by game. He has to do whatever it takes to win a basketball game. And even if that means going against his best mind to listen to somebody else or listen to his player. You remember, bro, they used to play this shit forever, dog. I remember Byron Scott was about to take Chris Paul out of a game years ago. Chris Paul on TV begging his grown-ass man, please, coach, let me play. Please, coach, let me play. The motherfucker wanted to play the entire game. Yeah. Byron probably knew it was a bad decision. But he listened to him. He let him play. And they won the game. You know, sometimes that's what you need. Now, certain dudes you can't really trust like that. Zion got to build up their trust. But at the same time, bro, what's going to happen is what's going to happen. And if you got to live or die with Zion anyway, that's going to mean being a little bit more creative with, you say the 6-minute mark. 6-minute mark might need to be the 8-minute mark. It might need to be the 10-minute mark. Game to game.
I agree. My thought was, because we was talking about the minutes and the subs at the 6-minute mark and stuff like that. Do you consider the bench to be strong, mediocre, or weak? Like strong, average, or weak? And that's gonna lead into my next question.
I'm gonna say average. Until I see the guys that are actually playing. If you talk about, I really do think it could be good. Like for real. I really do believe that the bench can be good because I think it's a lot of versatility there. And I think you got dudes that all specialize in different things. What Jose does well, like you don't have a bunch of redundant talents. You know what I mean? So Jose, Hawkins do different things. Sadiq Bey does different things. But if you like, he's a bucket. He's been a bucket, but he can also stretch the floor. Jose can manage things, but he can also get hot from threes and prove as a shooter. Jordan Hawkins, movement shooter. Looney, veteran, screen setter, grab rebounds, the fundamental big. You know what I mean? Like can do those things. Who else we got here? Derek Queen, jack of all trades offensively, plus rebounder.
Yeah.
Carlo,
I think that dude walking double-double. I think Carlo better than people think too.
And Carlo, question mark, but from what we know, can stretch the floor and is an athlete at the rim.
He played really well on the floor with Z too.
So yeah, and it's not just a bunch of young guys. It's a mix of veterans and people with stuff to prove. So I do think the bench could be good. But I just got to see it in action for me to put them past average.
Okay. So assuming that the bench is average, at least average to start out the season, you're going in saying, I can't, like the previous bench with Najee and Jose and Dyson and Larry, you kind of was able to rely on them a little bit more. In this particular season, if you're assuming they're average early, do you have to bump up the minutes of your starters to kind of supplement that until you know for sure? Like, does Poole need to go from, because again, in that interview, and I know y'all gonna do it, but he's gonna say, Jordan Poole is ready to come in and play, take on a new role in his. Hold on, man. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
No, come say hi. There you go. Say hi.
Yeah. What's up, bro?
I can't hear him.
There you go.
You can't hear me. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
Hey, what's your name?
Ace Davis.
Aries Davis.
All right, look, Aries. I got one question for you, right? So we talking rotations and we talking the bench, right? If you had to pick between Carlo, Misi, and Kevon Looney to play the most minutes out of the three, who would you pick?
Carlo or Misi?
Missy.
Okay.
Missy.
All right.
All
Like,
right.
one more thing. Well, no, he part of the show. No, hold on, he part of the show. Hold on. All right, one more, and I'm out. I promise. You think Willie Green a good coach?
Do you think Willie Green's a good coach?
The coach showed me.
The coach, no, say no.
The coach got to show
no.
you. Yep.
He got to show you. Good
Look,
job.
Look. In about 10 years, 10, 15 years ish, we got a spot for you, Boo Crew Media. If I'm still living, bro, just listen, just holler at us. Let's get it.
Say appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right, go play.
But
Now that's analysis.
Oh,
it's
oh,
lost.
what's lost?
My Megazord.
Go find it.
But
Go find it. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, you all right?
I'm sorry, bro. Appreciate y'all, man. No, like the wife normally here keeping everything under control. It's just us. We cutting up today. So and I just let everybody do their thing. You know how dads do when they got the kids, bro. They hopped up on Twix and Skittles right now too. So
I bet.
So we cutting up. But what we was talking about? The minutes, and if they need to extend the minutes for the starters and stuff like that. So like, do you need to see Poole go from? Do they need to take the Tom Thibodeau approach and my starters going 35 strong? And you kind of minimize what you get from your bench, or you don't think this team has to do that, or like, how do you feel about that?
That's a good question, man. I kind of got to cop out and say I really think it's going to depend on. They're gonna find that out in training camp.
Okay.
Because it's tough. It's tough for me to say that. If Sadiq Bey is ready to play basketball. And like you got certain guys that's penciled in already, like without a doubt. Like Looney's gonna play out the game. He can have the worst training camp of all time. He's going to play. Jose is going to play. Sadiq Bey should play as long as he's healthy and he's moving all right. And then we got Queen. If Queen is healthy, he's playing no matter what. So, are you leaning on these guys? Yeah, there you go. That's 9 players right there. So now, does he pull a plug on certain lineups to trust these starters, especially because that's the thing, and that's where you bring up a good point in regards to Tom Thibodeau. I have my questions about the starting lineup fitting, right? If we're saying Misi, just because Misi and Zion together have to show me that they can work and fit, right?
I think Carlo fits better than honestly. Like if we're going strictly based off Zion, I think we saw Carlo play just better with Zion, spacing, that athleticism, reading the floor, being able to catch. Like you could tell the Euro like form of play that he's had over the years is like he just fits a little bit better around Z, in my opinion.
All right, but the issue with that is they were the worst rebounding team in basketball last year, so that's on their mind. So that's why Carlo more than likely to start the year, unless he proves that he's improved in that area, he's going to be paired with another big. Like he's not gonna be the center. He's gonna be paired with Looney. He's gonna be paired with Queen. He's gonna be paired with with Misi or whoever. So, but if that starting lineup between Poole, who will he be asked to be a distributor, or more of a distributor like CJ was in certain strengths, or will he asked to just be him? Will Zion will this be the Zion that has the ball in his hands a little bit more at the top of the key, or will Zion be on the block? What Trey will we see? Will Trey be in the corner or 40 feet away from the rim? Or we seeing a Trey who had the ball in his hands a lot more, right? These are all the things that we don't know yet because of injuries and because of new parts. But if it works and you can depend on your starter, you gotta think, bro, how many times was the starting lineup fully healthy the problem?
That's true.
It has been.
Yeah,
it's been like it's been an issue because they typically didn't fit.
Yeah, and we thought because I think the lineup is still relatively similar because people been asking to insert Trey into the lineup because of the spacing and stuff like that. So you know that that's happening. It's just you didn't know before if you was inserting Trey for BI or if you was inserting Trey for Herb. Even
Exactly.
everybody wanted the BI, but you knew BI wouldn't go under the bench. BI, you know what I mean? That's a
Exactly.
$40 million man. He was never going to the bench.
There you go.
So it's just interesting to think about because based off the history of seeing, I don't want to say Poole, but CJ, Z, Trey, Herb, and you know for sure, like because we talked in our previous episode, we talked about that rotation and that lineup for sure. They can be very productive, and we'll see if Poole slots in. I don't think Poole is going to be asked to be more of a distributor, but I think his game is more. He's more of a playmaker than CJ is at this point in his career. So I think he's naturally going to, you know what I mean, break down the defense and make plays for others and stuff like that. So I don't think they're going to have to say, hey, we need you to come out and look to get everybody involved. I think they're going to, like, he's just naturally break down defense, you open, hit that man, as opposed to when CJ was, driving, it's all for the bucket.
Yeah. And then also, Alvin, how will they defend?
I don't know. So I ain't gonna lie. I know I'm not even worried about the defense. I'm gonna be honest.
No. I'm not saying that negatively. I'm just saying.
I have no clue.
I don't know.
But what I think they're gonna do, especially based off the lineups, because other than Herb and Jose, like, and Looney, who's really there's no real lot. Peavy, we gonna see if Peavy makes his way into the rotation or something like that, but there's no real person that you think is just like a lot. We actually, in fairness to Herb not even a lockdown defender. You know what I mean? Like, he's a great defender, but he's not a lockdown defender. So I don't think they even lean into playing lockdown defense. I think they try to go out and just cause havoc with turnovers. You know what I mean? Guard your yard for best you can. Don't let nobody beat you. And we just we blitzing you.
Well, I mean, I think that to be fair, that Herb, some of the teams that have been good previously defensively, like they weren't all filled with guys who were great defenders.
Absolutely.
But they had really good connectors. Now, the Herb and Dyson team, that's very good, right?
Yeah,
that's very good.
Throw and Herb, Dyson, Najee on the floor together.
Yeah, you threw in Larry as an ability to connect, but at the end of the day, you had games where Jonas was playing good defense.
Mm-hmm.
You was the 49 win year.
Yeah,
Randy was playing the best defense that I've seen him play in New Orleans.
He was looking like a rim defender at times.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Shit, we had BI at the 5 nights.
Yeah,
shout out to the Cleveland game. Zion was giving some of his best efforts defensively. So it's just, I'm not concerned even about the talent as such, but Herb is so important because of his ability to connect. He may not be a lockdown guy. He may have lockdown ability every now and then, but his ability to connect and make up for what others around him lack can turn a bad defense into an average defense and an average defense into a good defense. That's what's going to be key. But we still have to see ultimately how it's going to look. Can Messi stay out of foul trouble? Can Messi stay on his feet? Can he not goaltend? All those things. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's some great points. Here's one, Michael Morgan, shout out to you again. So Joe's been doing multiple interviews about like style of play necessarily and like what's coming back, and he's been talking about the two bigs and stuff like that. Do you think that they are going to emphasize playing with the two bigs? And if so, how do they really go about implementing that? Because to play, I don't think they're gonna do small ball. It like small, when I mean small ball, like Z at the 5. Like, I don't think Joe believes that Z at the 5 is effective. And I think that's also part of the reason I think he he's probably thinking that's part of why he keeps getting hurt.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You playing him too much in the post and stuff like that. Like, I don't think they believe that's the best way for Zion. So, based off the roster that we have, how do we go about effectively playing a too big lineup?
So you gotta have dudes that complement each other, strengths and weaknesses wise. Which is why last year towards the end, when they really started doing some of these double big lineups, Kelly Olynyk was a part of it. So whether Kelly was out there with Messi, or if it wasn't Kelly, it was Carlo and Messi, right? Like, one's gonna rebound, supposed to protect the rim, be a lob threat, and the other one's supposed to be able to stretch the floor. So that's one reason why Carlo is gonna be so important, because his ability to stretch the floor. But I'm gonna tell you something else. Another person that fits into this situation is Trey Murphy.
Okay.
Trey's 6'10". He's 6'10".
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, at some point he got to be considered to be a power forward in this equation that can, for times of a game, can be that guy, can go. And we saw him rebound a little bit better, flirt with triple doubles, constantly or whatever. If Zion isn't no longer gonna, if he's gonna be more of a 3 and above and less of a 4 and a 5 in stretch, with somebody else with the ability to stretch the floor has to step in when you have Looney and Messi, who are more traditional. So, and then you got Queen, who needs the ball but needs his space. So Queen's another guy. Like, when you have him out there, you probably don't want him out there with Messi. You probably shouldn't have him out there with Looney, but you might want to consider having him out there with Trey. You probably want to have him out there like his tag team partner either needs to be Carlo or it needs to be Trey. I think putting him out there with Looney or putting Queen out there with Messi, I think it's a bad look. I think it's a bad fit, because you are forced at that point to find 3 shooters at all time. Queen will not have any space to operate, and the spacing once again gonna be messed up. And you damn sure can't play Zion.
What you mean?
Not with those two.
Oh, you talking about with Looney and Queen?
Nah, you can't. You can't. It's gonna look like bourbon on Mardi Gras.
I think Queen. A lot of people saying they don't think Queen can play the 5. I think Queen is specifically like brought in to play the 5. To be honest, to maximize the lineup that you're talking about, and this is like, this comment is a big one, because like, you need a stretch big. So when people say stretch don't necessarily mean you need to hit the 3. Stretch means I just need you to be able to hit something consistently outside the paint. Like, maybe you can grow into an Al Horford, but if somebody got to respect your jumper from 15, 17 feet, 18 feet, like, if you could consistently knock that down. Now, a lot of teams don't like that shot. You know what I mean? It was like, if you're going to shoot a long 2, then shoot a 3. But I'm talking strictly from a basketball spacing perspective. And we've seen Queen shoot the mid-range consistently. And I think he rebounds well enough. And again, when people talking about like the 5, like, what are you going to do with Joker? It's like, bro, that don't matter. Like, that don't matter. You ain't doing nothing with Joker anyway. Like, Joker, Embiid, you know what I mean? Like, those.
None of them guys.
No, bro. Like, go out there and play your game, bro, because you can't do nothing with them anyway. It don't matter what defense you play and who you put on them. They're going to get their 50 or whatever they're going to do. So if that's the reason you're not playing Queen at the 5, then I don't know. Now, and this is also interesting. A lineup of Poole, Trey, Z, Queen, Carlo. And that's exactly what you was kind of hinting at. But I think that what Joe is looking at is the possibility of Queen being able to play make from inside the, you know what I mean, all areas inside the paint, and be able to use Zion more as like a secondary option, because defenses are going to focus on Zion, you know what I mean?
No matter what.
So if you got a guy like Queen that not only can punish his matchup, but make it easy for a player like Trey and Poole, and then you still have the spacing from Carlo, the athleticism and lob threat, and all of those players other than Queen, as we know right now, can run. That's really not a bad lineup.
I mean, again, like you gotta think when you put like it's putting together a puzzle.
Yeah.
So what do you having Queen out there and not having him with the basketball or not putting him in situations where he can freely create? It's kind of pointless, right?
Mhm.
Now, yeah, you should want multiple people that are going to make Zion's life easier to where he's not putting as much wear and tear. He doesn't have to dribble the ball as much. He can get easy looks just based off of like you said, the attention that others are ultimately getting, especially if some of these guys are getting single looks and don't have to worry about getting doubles or getting blitzed or trapped like they're used to getting.
Yes.
Like those things matter. But with that, we're talking about two dudes in Queen and Zion who need some kind of space. Queen is, once again, he's an offensive hub. So you throw the ball to him on a block, center of the floor, and everything can go through him. And for once, that means that somebody who is used to being the center, the center of the entire offense can take a play off or two. You know what I mean? Can do something else to create. But not only just that, he's unselfish. So it's not like he's looking for his own, looking for immediate, all the time. He's looking for whatever the best basketball play is. And I think these guys, the type of guys the Pelicans have right now, they need to see what easier shots look like.
Yeah.
So
everything is very challenging. Let me ask you this. Who would you say is the biggest out of non-starter? Who would you say is the biggest X factor off the second unit?
I think I said it. it was Carl. I think it's Carlo.
You think it's Carlo?
Yeah. It's Carlo because.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you think Murray plays a minute for the team?
Man, I asked them. I asked those. I asked the guys at Pro Pels Talk that question, man, and it was like yes and no. I think so, man, because he's gonna have to rebuild, I think, some kind of value, and the Pelicans would be wise if ultimately they're gonna look to trade him at some point. They're gonna want him, or they should want him to, raise some kind of value. So I think if ultimately that's what you're looking for, the only way to make that happen is by playing him, and is by people being able to see him healthy. So yeah, I do think that he will play at least a minute. I don't know ultimately how good or bad that is for everybody involved, but I think he'll play.
I got a partner of mine, shout out to DJ. He's been saying that he thinks Murray is not traded at all this season, and that they're really, Joe's been talking about they're excited to have him and stuff like that, that they really gonna roll with what they have this season. And I know when we're looking at the team, we're looking at it from the aspect of like DeJounte not being here, right? If DeJounte it comes back and is 80% of himself, right? 80% of himself, like, does that change the outlook of the team? Like, or do we have too many like rotation questions for like you need to move him for that purpose?
I don't know, because I spent so much time thinking about, like, not thinking about DeJounte playing basketball, just because we're talking about months away, and adding Jeremiah Fears and adding Jordan Poole, that is, and drafting Derek Queen. That it's hard for me to think like what DeJounte brings you at this point. Not saying he's a bad basketball player. I just don't know where the fit is, and then to go with the fact that he wasn't playing all that well when he was healthy last year. Not to his standard, and trying to fit in and make, you know what I'm saying, wasn't shooting the ball well, wasn't defending great. So a DeJounte that's trying to fit in by playing 10 to 15 minutes a game and finding his groove back and working his way back out on a team that's either Alvin rolling or struggling. Neither of those are good things to bring to make. Well, they may not be good things to bring him back to, but I will say for DeJounte, I do think that injuries humble people, bro. You got to sit down a long time, and they put a lot of things into perspective. And you looking at a dude that dealt with a lot of stuff off the floor and with the organization last year, to where maybe he looking at this situation like he getting a whole new, leash on life, or a whole new lease on life, I should say. With might change his outlook. He may genuinely mean, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to help this team be successful. And if that DeJounte is available and he's out there playing like it, then yes, it does change some things.
Okay. Between the hype videos that he's been putting out, bro, he got you thinking he ready for the season. Like, he got you thinking October 22nd, October 22nd, he gonna be there. That's what the videos got you thinking. But so let's say, and I don't know how much time you got. I don't know where you at.
I got about 10 minutes left here if I got it.
Okay. All right. I get you. Let's say DeJounte comes back, right? At 80% and is all the way bought in, right? Is all the way bought in, but you start seeing flashes of Atlanta DeJounte, San Antonio DeJounte, more San Antonio DeJounte, because I think we need more San Antonio DeJounte than Atlanta DeJounte. Atlanta DeJounte thought he was a star. Not saying he's not, but you get what I'm saying. How does that raise the ceiling of the team? Because initially one of the first things we was talking about was Jose having to be your sixth man because he was the only point guard. But if you knock Jose down the rotation and then DeJounte is that guy, does that change what your second unit looks like at all?
Well, I mean, yeah, because he's a starting caliber talent. Okay. And like that alone, being able to walk that back on the floor, I think changes everything. The Pelicans don't have a large barrage. Like they have, if we're saying like he would be the only non-situation, not counting Queen or Fears just yet, but he's the only non-situational starting caliber talent that will be a bench player. So that, I mean, that changes everything. If he is at San Antonio level, because that dude knew that it wasn't all about him. That dude ended up, he played off the ball. He defended. He took less shots. He was secure and playing the role that the game needed, that the floor of the game needed, versus I want to have the ball to decide it, versus I gotta, like, this is it. Him coming back, there is no expectation. There isn't what it was last year to where I need you to organize these guys and make them play better as a unit and bring more structure on the floor. That doesn't exist this year.
I think, and this will be the last one. We could kind of go through this and I could get you out on this one. I think if Murray comes back, because of the size, I don't know if that was crazy or not. It felt like it might have been.
Nah, you good.
I don't know. But because of Murray's size, that he could play, and then I think, you know how you have like they would have certain teams would have second units, and it was almost like you can play a bunch of different ways with the second unit because you had a guy that could organize the second unit, fit in almost any way you need him to fit in. And that just brought a different level of continuity to the team as a whole, because you could play your starters. And then, so imagine a bench unit of like Queen, Murray, Fears, Sadiq Bey, and Carlo Looney. Like, from a talent perspective, I think you could play Murray and Fears together because it's two ball handlers, and Murray has the size to defend off ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, him coming in automatically gives you Fears playing flexibility, because he's 4'10", however many inches taller than Jose, weighs more than Jose, has played some 2 in his career. Like, he's not foreign to that, has played off ball. So, yeah, I mean, the tough part about that is that it's not like all 5 of them dudes off the bench ain't gonna be playing together necessarily. You're gonna
Absolutely
have a
not.
starter mixed in, you know what I mean? So, but if we just saying as a unit, dang, you gonna have to work. Like, you add another dog as well.
Okay.
We talk about them drafted Queen, a dog. We talking about drafted Fears, a dog. You would be bringing back a dog again if it's mental, if he is fully bought in and committed, and what type of season that they have.
I agree. I think you could. I think just looking at the team and the rotation and stuff like that, there's some people that we left out. Like, we don't know where Peavy's gonna fall in. We don't know exactly where Hawk's gonna fall in, but I imagine Hawk is gonna get like early opportunities. I think Carlo gets his early opportunities in, and essentially is make a break for both of them as well. I think Carlo might actually have a little more rope. He asked him. That's funny. He's asked for a trade asset if they ask him to come off the bench. Yeah, but I think he asking for the trade right now. But I just think as we break down and look at the team and look at the rotations and stuff, I think you have a lot of versatility with the roster. I personally think what they're gonna do. Hold on, man. I personally think what they're gonna do is as the starters to up their minutes from the 30 that most of them are used to playing to like 32 to 35 or something like that, and then kind of limit, because that still puts Sadiq Bey at like 15 to 20, which is fine starting out. You're putting Looney at somewhere, Looney, Carlo, you don't know who, but you can kind of split that still gives you 9 guys around 15 to 20 minutes to come in and be impactful, and then you kind of go from there. But I just think the rotation is gonna be the starters will play more extended minutes, because I think Joe really wants to evaluate that, and all of those dudes are young. It's not like you got any old people out there too. So like all of them are trying to like they're trying to get checks, they trying to get accolades, like all of that's on the line in this particular season. And if not, they all getting traded. So I think the starters more than anything are gonna be playing and then evaluated. And then from there, I think you'll see Queen and Fears earlier than normal, because I think they want to know, hey, if these dudes look good early, do we need to pivot sooner, depending on what happens? Or are they better? Can they contribute more than what it is that we have? Can we move on from some of our bench pieces and stuff like that? So that's kind of where I'm at. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, and then you got to also factor, Davis, they don't have time to waste to play with.
No,
like people already, the people, questions. The jury is, is out on Zion. People didn't have a bunch of positive things to say about the offseason. Folks didn't have positive things to say about the draft night trade. There's questions about Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver. People weren't favorable, of that, and some of these people are me. So I mean, the list goes on and on with the things that people have been questioning or have questioned about, like Vegas. The over and under is like what, like 32 games?
31, 31 and a half.
Right, 31.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it went down, to be honest. I think DraftKings got it like 29.
I'm saying, so if you're gonna win, or if you are trying to win, you can't afford to get off onto another slow start. You can't afford to get off to another uneven start. You got to hit the ground running. And if that ultimately means I got to trust my best players more than I am genuinely used to starting off a season, I got to do what I got to do. Because also in the we started out early again, jobs are on the line. Futures are on the line. So
absolutely, everybody playing for the bread at the end of the day. So, man, I appreciate you for coming through, bro. You know what I mean? Always stepping up. Again, like I said, every time I got one of y'all, you know what I mean, especially you know what I mean, I always want to show y'all love and shout y'all out for doing this show. Appreciate it.
Bro, appreciate you having me as always, bro. Like it's you know, I like that you've been consistent with it. You know, I like that, you know, that you know, the guys been coming on the show and you've been you know, growing a viewing following and, you know, and everything like that, bro. So I mean, you know, it's nothing to support, and you know, it's always a good time, and you know, we you know, we put together a good show, bro. So keep doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. Appreciate y'all. Well, for that, man, that's going to be all for Pels in the Blender. I'm A. Davis. I got Chris Conner with me. We out. Peace.